What do we have here? We have a lovely Kizer. Now, this is an older one. I don't actually know when it came out, but it's S35. I mean, they still use S35, so that doesn't mean it's older. But it's just, it's discontinued, I think. It's Genesis. The Genesis, I think it says Gauge. Maybe that's the designer. I'm not sure.
The description on Kizer's page
really
just
nice
says
finish to it. It's
Gauge.
got this kind of very semi-gloss. No, not semi-gloss. What would you call that? Not eggshell either. I don't know. Just a nice flat finish. Not that real chalky feeling finish, but a nice smooth flat finish. The pocket clip is a little frumpy in the front. This needs an adjustment. We need to angle that a little more, kind of like that, so that it goes in the pocket okay. It gets a little stuck as it is. Otherwise, I think the back side of it, when you pull it back out of your pocket, I think it does okay. Let me see here. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to get in. Yep. Getting out is fine. So that's, we just need to kind of mirror that back angle. And then if it ends up being up off the metal a little bit, no big deal. I don't care about that. This is carbon fiber on this side. This really nice pattern cut into it. This kind of spiral pattern that maybe started like a circle here. No, maybe it's just, it's not really, I don't know. They're not symmetrical, I don't think.
Symmetrical? You mean concentric? Are the curves part of multiple concentric circles? I can analyze. Anal. Eyes. Anal. Eyes. No, they are not concentric. A fourth grader could tell.
Anyway, really nice back spacer. I like when they have three, more than two bolts through the body screws. It's nice. It has a little cutaway here for you to use the flipper. Unnecessarily, that flipper's so big that you can't not flip it. It's got a really nice detent. It flips really nice. Actually, that last little bit of the flipper is kind of useless. No jimping on it. So stupid. I think actually I'm going to cut it off right about there. Get rid of that last little bit because it doesn't do anything. And it's kind of big and sticky outy. So if we cut it off about here, I think it'll look better. And still give you plenty to pull down on. And then you'll just be on the jimping too and not on the slippery part. So that's something we're going to do. And we're going to make the body pretty with some nice anodizing. And I'm going to put a thumb stud in it. Okay, because the person I'm kind of doing this for likes thumb studs, and I think this will be a great thumb stud knife. It won't be a thumb chaser. Like some knives, if you put a thumb stud on it, you try to pop it, you try to slow roll it even, and it pops loose, and then the blade goes up past your thumb, and then your thumb's trying to catch up, and you end up cutting your thumb like this. I call it a thumb chaser, because your thumb's trying to chase the thumb stud when you're trying to open it. This one isn't really that. I can press down on it, on the blade, and open it, and slowly. But some knives, they just have a nice strong detent to where they're just not meant to open slowly. You try to open it slowly and they pop. Try to open it slowly and it pops open too far like that. And then you're chasing it with your thumb, cutting your thumb open. So I think this one will be great and not be a thumb chaser. So I wanted to see if anybody wanted to watch how I figure out where a thumb hole's going to go. Let's see, I need a marker. Oh, I got one right here. Okay, so we need a marker. And you could have a little ruler or something, but I don't usually use one. So the main considerations here for a thumb stud, for me, I usually like it up near the top of the blade as much as possible. I don't like one that's way too far down. Like this high fin, it's a little bit too far down for me. I mean, it works great. The high fin thumb stud works great, but it would be better if it was a little higher and a little more that way. So that, well, it can't be much more that way because look, it's going to hit right here. But you could move it that way a little bit. So that just gives you a little more leverage when you're opening it. And so your thumb also has more room because your thumb's not jammed up against the body right there. It has more. If it was up a little bit, you'd be able to reach it easier. Same thing for the reverse flick. So I like mine up near the top edge as much as I can. And then you don't want it too far forward. You don't want it in the way of the cutting edge. You don't want to have, like, if you're cutting something, you don't want your thumb stud hitting it right here, whatever you're cutting, So you want it as far back as you can. And then your third consideration, which determines how far back you can put it. If I put it here, is it going to run into this guard right here? Bolster, whatever it is. So it can't be that far, so it has to be a little bit like here to make it around the corner. So from that, what I kind of do is figure out where I want it, somewhere in this area, and then move the blade to where that part's going to run into it, and then draw a little circle where you want to drill it, and see if that works out. And then also you got to consider that the circle where you drill it is going to be a little smaller than the actual thumb stud. So you want to maybe draw a full-size thumb stud there to make sure. All right, so that's the one side of it. So something like that. Is that going to work? Is that going to hit as it goes by? Look at that. It's actually going to hit. So I can't use that circle. I got to move it a little bit. So that's good to know. I have to move it that way. Just a hair. Okay, so I'm going to rub it off. That's what she said. Alcohol gets this marker right off of your blade. Okay, I can see where it was, so I got to put one a little further forward this time. Okay. Something like that. How's that going to work? Yep, that gives me room. So I drilled a hole right in the center of that, and then we'll show you how to put the, well, I mean, there are different kinds of thumb studs, so I'll show you how to put on the one that I have after it gets drilled. And maybe I'll do this other work too. So we'll see. So everything came apart pretty standard, no issues. Really nice and clean on the inside, very well done. Like, I've definitely seen worse internal milling and stuff on higher end knives. I think this one was probably around $200 when it was new, I'm guessing.
When originally introduced, the Genesis was $220.
The washer inside that the bearings run on has one of the deepest tracks I've seen. Really deep, really big track. The bearings are pretty big too. I think it's pretty nice. Pretty nice bearing set. A little dirty, but also very well oiled.
So the knife has big, oily balls. Got it.
So, got it apart. Everything came apart as it should. The body screws even look like they have quite a bit of Loctite on them, but it didn't seem to really, it didn't bind them up. They came out as they should, just like normal. So, I'm going to go ahead and continue. Well, here's a dilemma I didn't even notice. There's no holes in the back into the area where the carbon fiber is to push it out. I assume it's glued in there, so some kind of glue, which I will put it back in after I do the anodizing, but I have to have it out. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. I might have to drill a little hole, but I got to be so careful not to drill through this. And man, that is a thin little layer. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I might try to pry it up. I'll let you know what works. Okay, so as you can see, the carbon fiber is cut to the exact same size as the pivot hole. So you can see how thick the titanium is there. And then you can see the edge of the carbon fiber just past it. Well, that's interesting. So what I'm going to do is push it, try to get something underneath here. And when I did that, it started pushing up. So I think I'll be able to get it from there. I'm going to start shoving some little thin shims or something down under it to kind of knock the glue loose and get it off there. It should come off okay. Titanium isn't the best for glue sticking to it, so it should come loose. So I thought this was pretty interesting. The pocket clip looks like a single screw pocket clip. Well, it is a single screw pocket clip. It only has one screw holding it, right? But it has two holes down below. Now, when I saw the second hole, I was like, oh, it has a pin sticking down. No, it has a ceramic ball bearing. And the ceramic bearing is a hair bigger than the outside diameter of this hole. The part of the ball that's actually sticking out is bigger. So it doesn't go all the way down into the hole. It's pretty fucking tricky. So it sits there, there we go, just a hair off of the hole. You can see that there's a little bit of light between it, right there, right?
Freeze, magnify.
There. So, once that screw is screwed in, it's being held, and then that ball bearing is self-centering and keeping that pocket clip from being able to move it all left and right. Like, probably as well or better than two separate screws, I think. So I don't know if Kizer came up with this or if they borrowed it from somewhere else, but man, it's really, really cool. Kind of a cool idea.
Unfortunately, all the modification footage was lost in a tragic boating accident, along with all his AR-15s and short-barreled shotguns. Allegedly. Luckily, I covered these still shots of the parts by hacking Alexa's spy network.
So there we go. We got it together. I finally got the hole drilled through the blade. That was a son of a bitch. We got the ano, put some ano on the pocket clip, put some ano on the back spacer, and she's good to go. It's pretty much how I was hoping, that you could actually kind of thumb open it, although it's got a little bit of a jump there when it pops out, but it doesn't make you want to chase it with your thumb and cut yourself. So came out pretty good, I think. It's got these nice little spirally lines on that flat surface, and then the lower surface has sort of a different look, kind of a semi-gloss look. The same thing on the other side, like that edge has a different look than the top that has the spiral cuts. And the anode is even a little bit different. So that's the finished product. Very nice, very smooth. Hopefully my buddy likes it. Have a nice day.